My name is Richard Casper. I'm a Marine Corps veteran, and I teach the course here at the School of the Art Institute of Chicago. This program started basically because after my injuries in war, I didn't know how to deal with myself. I came back, had a brain injury, my best friend was shot and killed. I didn't know myself at that point. Art has helped me by giving me a chance to have a voice again. I used to not be able to leave my house. I couldn't go talk to people. I would physically throw up and get sick. If you could be 0%, that's committing suicide, 100% being the best you can be. After the Marine Corps, after being injured, I was at probably like a 9 or a 10. And after this school, I was back to like 85% me. For people who may struggle like I did and didn't want to break out of the house and be like, I'm not sure if this is going to work, I just want them to know my story and be able to come out here and learn with other combat vets how to do art. And if they're looking for one more way, if they just come out here and give me a chance, it's going to be worth it.
What we were aiming for is to express what we were dealing with, when we were deployed and during our military career, where we literally get out of our element, go on this kind of like alternate reality to go back in time, think about what we went through, and express it to other people.
Just being exposed to different concepts of art, like at the museum and some of the contemporary art we saw, that's what influenced me to try doing a performance piece for my last project.
The opportunity to be at the school was just phenomenal. It was amazing. At lunch, we could go and wander the halls of the museums, and that was pretty awesome.
I think the hardest part was actually talking about what I've been through. It was easy talking to Richard because he is a combat veteran and he has been through stuff I've been through. And
my job was to, go find IEDs or find landmines or anti-personnel landmines and take them apart. And little did I know, I was putting that stuff inside me.
At first, it's a little hard to let yourself become vulnerable. You won't really know what to do right away. It takes a couple days. I know for me, it took a week.
Being surrounded by a bunch of veterans that know what combat feels like, knows the after effects of combat, knows how it feels to come home. It was really comfortable being here.
They're gonna come to class like normal college students, treated like normal people that know how to be like, I can be in college, I am a normal person, and I could live like everybody else lives. If even one of them chose to go to college and study art and has that artist brain to where it saved them, it's totally worth it.
All right. I am back. Oh, hold on. I switched it. There we go. I am back. Wait a minute. I've got two OBSs open. How is that possible? We're going to close one of them. There we go. Cool. All right. Just going to make sure I am up on everything. Do some technical testing. Got a new setup for my overhead camera. Got an official stand. So that's pretty cool that you can actually see stuff correctly now. Alright, let me make sure audio is good. So that's pretty cool. Yep. You can actually see. Audio is good. We are here. Boom. People logging in on Facebook. Make sure you create a watch party so people can watch us. So today, it's really like a catch-up stream. I haven't been streaming for a while. A lot of crazy stuff's been going on. Been super busy, but I'm glad that I'm able to do some more streaming now. Okay, I'm just moving around all my little frames. So if this is your first stream with CreatiVets, my name is Garrett Leo. I'm the art director for CreatiVets. I'm going to be doing some ink illustration today. I'm working on my graphic novel. I'm almost done. I can give you a little status update on where I'm at as far as streaming, or as far as my comic goes. So that's super cool. Sorry, I'm just moving my lights all around so that you can get a nice view of the desk. Make sure I've got the space to work. Let's clear it. I've been in artist hideaway mode. I've just been making a lot of work. Okay. So we're up. Let me pull up the chat in case people want to ask me questions. I think that's good there. I'll make this smaller. Oh. Okay. Here we go. All right. Let's just jump right into it. So I've been working on a move this over here. I've been working on a graphic novel for quite some time now. If you missed I think I've streamed the graphic novel stuff specifically once or twice. So just a little backstory on this. I wrote this graphic novel when I was at SAIC studying the arts, and I never finished it. I got maybe half of it. I got a quarter of the whole story done, but I got half of part 1 done. So what I've been doing is I've been going through, these are all the pages that I've been inking and drawing and finishing. So where I'm at in the story, I'm on the second, I hopefully will finish up the second to last scene today. So I've got 1, 2, 3. I've got 3 pages inked. Looking pretty cool, right? I'm liking the contrast. So I'll work on one today. Maybe not those. I'll work on this scene. This is a good one. Guy digging a hole. All right. So we'll work on that. I'll kind of walk you through the tools that I use and materials. Alright. So here's our page. Now you can kind of see it. I'm actually really happy with this setup. I've got a nice overhead. It's kind of focused on it. So let's, I'm going to turn my lights down here. Maybe that'll help. We'll leave it like that. All right. So some tools I'll be using today. This is a Bristol paper. So this is like a high quality paper design for ink drawing. I've been using this for almost all the art that I've been making recently. I sketched on there with a non-photo blue pencil. If you watch any of my streams, I've talked quite a bit about non-photo blue pencils. These aren't just light blue colored pencils. They're a specific type of graphite, I guess, or pigment. So when you sketch it all out, when I scan this and put it into my computer, all the blue will disappear very easily. You change it to grayscale. I have a stream up on that, actually, taking an image like this, inking it, and then putting it on, putting it in a computer. But you sketch it out. We're gonna ink this today, and then I'll edit it later and take the blue out. Sound good? Sound good. So tools I'll be using outside of my non-photo blue pencil are a couple of things. So I've got my Micron pens, different line weights. I'll hold that up there, maybe you can see it. Boom, boom, boom. Micron pens, different line weights. I also have just some straight up Black India ink, and actually I'm gonna refill my bottle a little bit. So this is the ink that I'm using, some Speedball Super Black India ink. And hopefully I don't make a mess all over myself on a live stream. But we're gonna refill. My container was getting a little low. Oh, I'm gonna make a mess. I guarantee it. Whew. Okay. There's the mess. There's my ink covered pencil now. All right. So there's that. We discard of this real quick. Handy dandy art studio rag. If you're tuning in, drop a comment. Let me know where you're streaming from. Ask me some questions. All right, so fill up our ink Just a little bit so that I can dip my brushes in. I'm out of my cartridge ink. This is the one that's refillable, but I've been using it to just dip into the ink, so I'll use this today when I'm filling in those black spaces. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of get started. Doing a lot of little talking. I see some people on Twitch too. Right on. Welcome, welcome. Okay, so I'll put the ink to the side first. So first thing I'm gonna do with, I'm looking for my specific. There it is. The first thing I'm gonna do in starting to ink a graphic novel page is I'm going to outline all of the frames. So your frame is the actual box that the image is set in. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 frames. As you can see, one frame is kind of inside the other, right? They're all different shapes and sizes. You could do the standard, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all squares. I like to mix them up and have some variety. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a graphic 1. Now this is pretty much like a fine point Sharpie at this point because it's the thickest version. And I'm gonna outline all of the frames. Now you could use a ruler for this and make sure that your lines are super clean and straight. I like to just kind of go for it. It kind of gives a little movement to the comic, and it doesn't keep it so crisp and clean. I like the dirtiness of the drawings. So I'm just gonna outline it. Now I just completely did the opposite order I normally do. I usually outline all of them in one direction and then go the other way. So I'll do that right now. Oh wait. See, I moved that frame. I messed it up. I'll fix it later. Something to consider when you're working. I do black and white comics. Something to consider is just your balance of contrast. So I'm going to have a lot of black, a lot of white. And I want to kind of balance my page so it's not, all white all over the place, not all dark. I want it to have a good variety. I'll show you an example. When you're considering, balance, right? Here's an example. I've got a lot of black, but then these white lines break up the black. I've got the white up here to contrast the dark shadow of the surface. In this image, right, white figure, and then big block of white, but then it's balanced with black, right? Just keeping a good mix so that it's not all one color or the other. Let me see, I gotta get this back on the right page or I'll get things mixed up. Okay. And I'm drawing I would draw the next page normally, right? Just keep going one after the other. But this is actually the last page of that scene, and I don't want to give away part of the story, so I'm gonna start with this one. So we'll draw the end, because this one doesn't give too much away. He's digging a hole, so. Right. So I'm just taking my time. I work on a nice table, a nice big steel table that I can slide my hand pretty easily. Holding a very solid grip on the marker, not letting it wiggle around a lot. There is some, line variation, but pretty much all the same. So again, I'm just outlining all of the frames. And by the time I'm drawing to the top, now I'm going over those and I'm sliding my hand across. This ink dries pretty fast. It's a micron pen again. It's a permanent ink. It dries pretty fast. So you don't have to worry about smudging that much. This is one of my favorite parts of inking because you're kind of setting up, you can kind of already get a sense of what your page is going to look like when you're inking. Right. And boom. Okay. So now I have all of my frames set up. I've got my little ceramic cup with my stuff. I like to put my all my micron pens in a cup like this so I can see the tops. On the tops of the pens, it has the line weights. I don't know if you can see that. It's too dark. Let me shine a light on it so you can see what I'm talking about. Boom, there we go. Right, it's got the little numbers on that, so that way I don't have to like... I'll just show you the rest of my desk. Over there, I've got my cup of water and all of my other pens just kind of laying around. But the ones that I use a lot, I like to keep... let me get this straight again. Boom. I like to have them in the cup so I can just grab and go, grab and go, grab and go. See some more people jumping on Facebook. Welcome. Doing some ink drawing on a graphic novel. I just inked up the frames of the page. This is an ongoing comic that I've been working on. This is page 32. So we're just going to work on this today. So if you have any questions about graphic novels, what the story is about, I could talk about that. Or literally anything about comics, I'd love to talk about it. So I'm just going to get started. So I like to work from top left to bottom right. Again, I'm a righty, so I'm going to be smearing to the right. I tend to flip-flop and go all over the page as I'm working, but I like to kind of do it as I'm reading it so that my hand is always on the right side and it's not smearing any ink. I've been pretty good recently not smearing ink, so let's see if I can keep the same thing. All right? Move that. I'm just looking at my screen and seeing all the stuff on the page. All right? So, here we go. Let me check. Hold on now. Okay. Let's get started. So, again, things that are further away, you want to start smaller. So I'm going to actually get my smaller pen sets. I've been drawing these big portraits, so I've needed thicker ones, but I'm going to bring up I'm going to start with a 03. Can I get a 03 in the chat? And then I'm just going to start inking. So I like starting with the face first. And someone asked me in one of my other streams, Garrett, do you like listening to music when you make art? Yeah, I usually do. I've got a pretty nice setup. I've got a Grundig speaker out in the rest of the apartment. I'm in the office right now. But it's loud enough that when I play it, I can hear music and it's got a nice sound to it. But I don't want to lose the audio to the stream, so I can't listen to music. In case you were wondering. Can you all see that? Kinda. I need to get like another view that's zoomed in. That'll be the next thing. Shout out to Zachary again for getting this whole fancy setup. You can see all the little tags at the bottom. Follow us on Instagram, on Twitter, and all that. Super cool. Check out his stream. He made one yesterday. He's been doing a series of interviews with other veterans. So if you have not seen that, it's called The Ready Room with CreatiVets. Please go check that out. Super cool stuff. Great conversation. And that's my boy. Like I said, he helped me set up. He became the OBS expert overnight. That's the system that we use to stream this. So definitely check that out. All right. Now I'm going to go up a bigger size. I'm going to go to a 5. Let's see if this 5 is dry. I use the size 05 a lot. Oh, it's good. So sometimes it's a little dry. I'm just trying to... When I sketch, sometimes I have a lot of stuff going on, and I just want to make sure I'm staying true to what I drew. Boom. Got some more people jumping on Facebook. You know what? Do me a favor. If you're watching on Facebook, go share this video with a Facebook group that you're with, or start a watch party, because that'll get some more people on here, and hopefully it'll reach some people that want to learn about some art. Okay, here's a hand, my favorite thing to draw. Gotta make sure which finger's doing what. Boom. Actually, gonna take a little white out on that hand. Put a line where I don't want it. Boom, there we go. Now we got a flicking hand. Add some little details there. Right, boom. I'll give you a little show of what I'm working on, right? A little close-up view. Oh, I gotta go this way. Here we go. Right? Just getting those details in that jacket he's wearing. I'm actually gonna bring up something that's important when working on something as large as this. Just continuity for like what the dude's wearing. So I'm gonna take out some pages that I've already inked up and decided like what he's wearing. Because, like I said, I just want it to be consistent. Continuity. Alright, this is a good one. Alright, so we'll keep those two. Alright. Back at it. Alright, I'm going to take my little brush and add his... Ooh, that one's kind of dry. Have another one? Yes. Getting messages on Facebook. I'll keep this right here while I'm working. So we get a little bit of both views. Move my ink further away from me so I don't knock it over. Alright, gonna switch to a larger size, use an 8. Is he wearing a belt? Yeah, I guess he is now. Right. Switching to my brush again, I'm going to fill this tie-in. And again, the ink that I'm using with the Micron is different from the India ink. So the Micron ink dries a lot faster. It's like I think what they call it is an archival ink. It dries way faster than the India ink. So I'm going to try to color as much as I can with this. Because once I start using the India ink, I'll just need to move my hands around more and make sure I'm not messing stuff up. Now I'm going to switch to an 01, just a smaller size, so I can get some more finer details in the suit. Again, something that is highly encouraged. Have some variety in line weight. Okay. Switch to an 005, that's half of that, even smaller. I'm going to do some pinstripes because he's got some. I'll do some. His collar got a little messed up. I'm going to draw. I almost forgot to draw the other collar. And now I'm going to do the pinstripe on his shirt. And it's not a straight up and down pinstripe because his shirt has been ruffled a bit. Right, now we've got that. I'm gonna ink his belt. All right. Just like that. People are tagging me on a bunch of stuff on social media. All right, and then his pants they're like a little hatch. So I'll use a 2. And I'll do one line up and down, and then the left and right one I'll do a little shaky, just suggest that it's got a texture to it. Okay, his suit jacket is white. Oh, I forgot he's got a little like thing on his lapel. Have I been drawing that in all the scenes? I don't even know if I've been drawing on all the scenes. Now I gotta check. See, that's what I'm talking about. Continuity. I always find things that I'll add a little detail, be like, oh, that's cool, and then I'll forget about it. Let me go back and check. Got it. Oh, we're good. Didn't I do? Nope, not good. Didn't draw it on the other ones. Hold up. Hold up. Okay, now we're good. Continuity has been saved. He's got a little like flower on his lapel. Okay. What's next? What's next? Do I want to give him a little stubble? I don't think I've given him stubble at all. No, we're not going to do that. Okay. I'm going to use the 2, keep using the 2. I'm going to add some more details, just like more wrinkles in the suit, some texture. Right. Okay, now I'm going to use my graphic, which is my 1. And what did I want to do for contrast? I think I wanted this black, or do I want that white and everything black? Let me check. What I'm deciding right now is I've got this huge space here. Do I want this to be black and then everything else white? Maybe I'll do that white, this black, that black. That'll balance out. Yeah. Yeah. Just gonna decide if I want to add anything like on the ground in the background. I guess the city is kind of behind him. Maybe I could do a skyline maybe. No, nothing's behind him. I'll do some trees maybe. Once I'm done inking all the pages, I'm gonna like sit on it for a second and then go back in at a later date and read through it. Right. You know what? I'm gonna do something real quick. I'm gonna set this to record too. Get a little footage of my drawing. Boom. Oh, we're gonna do both at the same time. All right, here we go. All right, so I'm gonna keep this black. I'm gonna give it a little trim. Okay, a little detail on the trunk. Use my brush again, and I'm gonna fill in that black. So I decided this background's gonna be white, this background would be black, this background will be black, right? And then this will be like a gray, this will be white, this will be black. It'll all balance out. Hopefully. We'll see. Sometimes I change my mind as I'm doing things, but we're gonna commit to this being black, and we'll go from there. Boom, just like that, got a trunk. Okay. There needs to be something at the bottom. I just don't know what. I'll do some trees. We're gonna wait. We're gonna wait. Start with a 5, do this little close-up portrait of his face. Oh, I forgot he's got some stuff splattered on his face. Okay. I'll show you how to update. Boom. Right, all those details in there. I'm actually gonna work. I forgot. You know what? I think I'm gonna. No, I'm not gonna swap it. We're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep going. I'm gonna draw my cigarette he was tossing. With some smoke. Just like that. And I switched my... when I started drawing this comic, I was very cartoony with my illustration. And now I draw a little bit, way more detailed. So sometimes I draw super detailed faces. Sometimes I do. I just stick with the cartoon. I like the style that I came up with when I did it. Boom, just like that. I'll show you the update. So this is a little more of a realistic face with, as far as just the eyes. It's really just the eyes that change. Take out my brush again. I'm gonna add my hair texture. He's got like just some wavy, oily hair. Almost looks like a skunk. Phone's blown up. Hold on. Pause for a second. Getting like 20 messages, making sure everything's all good. Okay. Switching to an 8. Right, this suit jacket's a little closer. Continuity, you gotta add this little scrunchy thing that I added. I don't know. Maybe I'll take that out when I read through it and decide if I want to keep this or not. Like I said, I'm planning, once I'm done with everything, to read through it in this version and then kind of add details as needed. Make sure the continuity of the drawings are set. And then I kind of edit. I know there's a couple scenes that I drew when I first did this that I want to... It took me there was this one scene I did. I added stuff to extend the dialogue because it was just so short and just like not good, honestly. The dialogue wasn't great. But then I needed to change just the artwork because it just didn't look good. So eventually I'll be going back through the whole thing and deciding, what's going to stay. I want to kind of stay true to myself when I made it. As far as like keeping that art, but I also want it to be something that I would like to put out there now. Hoping that this summer I can get, my goal is to get this stuff drawn and inked by the end of June. And then get it all scanned in July, and then get something printed by the end of July. A little example book. I'd like to do, like I said, this is part 1 of a 2-part story. I'd eventually like to do the other part. Just, getting the motivation to do it is something that has been a struggle lately. A lot of stuff going on. And I just don't feel like making art all the time. Although I am pretty productive. Like I said, I've been making a lot of stuff, but nothing like... I haven't been working on this specifically. I've just kind of been making stuff, Okay. Making his pinstripes a little more condensed, a little closer. I'll give you an update. I will show you what it looks like. Right? Let me think for a second. Just want to decide. Which parts are going to be black. And again, just thinking about that balance. I'm deciding which backgrounds are going to be what. Maybe I'll just keep working on it. Any suggestions, people watching, which panels should be, or which frames should be black, which should be white? Drop a comment. Maybe I'll go with that. All right, work on this portrait now. This page is really just 3 views of him. I'm going to start with a 3 if I can find it. What did I do? Can I get a 0? There it is. Can I get a 03 in the chat? Get another little Easter egg I do it. When I do the inside of the ear, I put a G for my initial. It's amazing. I try my best to keep the characters looking the same, but just looking at the faces of the dude, they have shifted quite a bit. I mean, the same thing is still there, but like the proportions change every time I draw it. It is what it is. Deal with it. Sue me. I get my little brush out, add his hair texture. use a 5. Now I added a tie clip. He hasn't added the tie clip the whole thing. I'm not drawing the tie clip. See, that's what I'm saying. As I'm drawing things, I like to add little details that are like, oh, that looked cool there. And then it doesn't make any sense with what I've been drawing. So we're not doing the tie clip. Am I blocking it? No, I'm not perfect. I'm streaming again, I think Wednesday. I like the setup. Maybe I can do a little painting now that I've got the nice overhead view. All right. I'm going to switch to, what was that? Let me see if I can find an 04. Did I have one? I know I had one. What did I do with it? I got another whole thing right here. Let me see. You know what? I think I brought, give me a second. I think I put it with my notebook I was writing in the other day. Just kidding, it's not there either. Alright, I lost my 04. See, I got 3 of these packs and I feel like I keep losing them. I don't know how I keep losing them. What's this? That's a 1. I'll use, what did I use a 5 for that? I'll just use the 5 again. I'll use an 8. For the shovel. I'm pretty sure I'm going to make this shovel like all black, but we'll see. How's he holding that? Like that? Yeah. If you've seen any of my drawings, you know. How is he? That can't come up. You know, hands are like the worst thing for me to draw. So we've got the shovel kind of textured. Oh, that wasn't even on the screen. Look at that. Got the little shovel down there with some reflections. Boom. This is the wrong size pen. Let me switch that real quick back to the 5. And again, I could draw the whole thing with one line weight. I just think it's better it helps the depth of things and tell how close things are, how small things are, what the feel of things are, because you have different line weights. So. Just adding details to the shovel. I'm gonna switch to a 1 or an 01. Add some details to like the knuckles and stuff. Just very subtle lines to suggest they're not hot dog fingers, you know. Switching back to 5. Definitely need to white out. I made his thumb curve in an unnatural way. This is an awesome tool if you are going to be inking a lot. If you've seen my other streams, I've talked about it, but it's called Presto. It's a jumbo correction pen. Looks like this. It's a big whiteout stick, but you can draw with it. So sometimes I'll draw something like the white specks on the asphalt is I just made it all black, and then I go on top of the white and just add that little stippling effect. So super helpful in those cases. Switch back to a 5. Add some suggestions of this man's hand there. Right, boom. Maybe I'll add some little hairs to his arm. That I'll go in with a really small 003. Just to give him something. Otherwise he looks like he's got these long noodle arms. Just a little scribble scrabble around it. Boom. He's got some texture there now. I will use a 01 for his pinstripes. Now the pinstripes are going to be a little wonky because he's got his shirt rolled up, so I'm just going all different directions, imagining that shirt is going all which ways, all different directions. Okay, then we'll do the shirt. Again, he's got a pretty tight pattern. That was what I fixed on the other one. And again, you want these lines to curve with the shape. So he's got like a big barrel chest. So I'm going out and up. Now let me show that. Right, I'm not just doing straight lines up and down. If I did that, it would look like he's got nothing here, but he's got a big like barrel chest. Right? You want to accentuate that? Exaggerate that? What word am I looking for? But yeah, if you go up and down, it doesn't look like he has any volume, and that's not the case, you know. If you want it's all about your drawing style. I want this graphic novel to be like realistic, but imagine if it was an altered universe. I have been watching a lot of Twilight Zone and imagining this story existing in a Twilight Zone world, you know. So, is this the dry one again? What? This is not the dry one. What did I do to this thing? Oh well. Might be switching to that other ink pen or other ink brush in a second. Right. It's day 4,000 of the quarantine, self-isolation, social distancing. Ay. I'm gonna. So his pant legs have that crosshatch texture on it. So I'm gonna outline his legs with a thicker line, which is I'll use an 8, which is the second largest type I have. I'm gonna refer to what I made his pants look like in this first frame that you see him. He's got some big pant folds, just again keeping that continuity. So that like I said, the face changes quite a bit. The characteristics are there, so I'm not too worried about it. But it does change, so I want to make sure that at least the outfits are identifiable. Okay. Like that. We'll do a big crease along the front. He's got some nice pressed pants. Got the nice little crackle. All right, now I'll go in with a smaller one. I'll use the 5 and do the he's got a full-blown stripe outfit. I didn't think about this. Or initially, he was just wearing a white suit, and I was like, "Oh, well, add some texture to the pants. It'll be super cool." But then I remembered that I forgot about this scene where when he takes the suit jacket off, now he's just a bunch of stripes. It looks alright. You've got a pretty crazy outfit, but it looks good. I'll show it to you. Boom. That'll look good against a black background. So I think I've decided black, white. So otherwise, if I leave it white, it'll just be... Yeah, it'll just he'll blend in. I don't want that. I want it to pop out. Alright, shoes. Got some nice pointy shoes. Those drawn with an 08. I'll switch to a 3. The little details to the bottom of the shoes. Now I did this just I want them to be really glossy. So I just did this little suggestion of that they are a color, but they're so shiny. That's all you see, right? So maybe they're just super polished black shoes, right? Like this. Just a suggestion. Again, I think it'll be good if this is all black. I'm going to add his little shoelace thingies. And again, this is rolling with the original design. Staying true to my drawing when I first did it, you know. A lot of reacts to my story. I just posted on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram, ManGlazeBlack. Boom is right. That's right, Kyle. Boom is right. Water break. Water. Got my windows open. Can you hear people? Okay. So he's done. I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna make a lot of lines on that part of the shovel to suggest that it's made out of wood. And I'll show you what I just did. I just did so many lines that some of them filled in. Right? Just some contrast between the shovel. I think I'm gonna get rid of. Yeah, got rid of a little spot on the shovel. Thought it was too much. All right, so this will be white, black, black. Right. Yeah, because I'll do the black on the ground and I'll draw. I'll show you how to draw with the whiteout thing. So we'll leave that white. Do black up here. Now I'll switch to my... Imagine if I just spilled this ink everywhere. How crazy. I've done it before. I'm going to take my pen. Oh, I forgot how much ink I put in there. It's all good. And we'll just make this black. I'm gonna bring up my TikTok so I can make a video of this. Boom, hold on. Look at this. A video within a video. Okay. And we'll put that to the side for now because look at that drawing I did. Put that to the side for now. And I'll take another video in a bit. But so I'm going to make all this black. The reason, I mean, I've done this throughout the comic. I'll just like disregard what the background is. I'm getting better at drawing backgrounds with like perspective and proportion and stuff. But when I was not so great at doing that, I used to just delete the background and do these frames of black. But I think it serves as a good break from the story and just kind of focuses on just like looking at the character. And, you know, this story is not a kid-friendly story. And just like taking a moment to look at the character in the eyes. His eyes shift from just like the cartoony solid black eyes, let's look at that, to having pupils that are still pretty much solid black. And yeah, just like taking a moment to look at the character and just like thinking about what you just watched him do or them do. And just having a moment with that, like that, with that character, like I said. When I went to Cuba, I met an artist who did these paintings of humans, right? All these figures. And some of them had eyes and pupils, some of them had closed eyes, and some of them had just like black holes. And I asked what the significance was, and it was, I think I wrote it in my sketchbook. I'm going to butcher what he actually said, but it was along the lines of, you know, the black eyes mean that people aren't looking, they're not seeing things, in the sense, like more conceptual sense, not physically being able to see, not like blindness, but being able to look and perceive and just think about things. So in my drawings, these figures have solid black eyes because a lot of the times, you know, in this world, they're doing things that they're not really looking and considering. But there are moments, you know, like these where I'm making the background solid black. I want you to look at the figure, and although you can see pupils and identify he is, you know, supposed to be a really caricatured human, he's something else, you know. All right. So I'm going to add just some gravel here so I know where the ground is. because everything else will be black. Right? Second guessing myself now. The thing you can't do with ink is, can't really second guess when you do things. You can use the wet up, and I've completely redone drawings by whiteouting the whole thing, but, you don't really want to do that. And if you're wondering why I'm not doing that part first, it's because I'm hesitant and I don't know if I'm going to make that all black. I think I'm going to, though. If you're interested in seeing more, just video, you can't even see that. There we go. If you're interested in seeing more videos of me making things or drawing or just like more fast-paced art making videos, you can go follow me on TikTok. Everyone's making fun of me for it, but it's fun. I can post a bunch of fast art videos and people can see what I'm doing. So if you want, go check that out. Like I said, some of them are more curated, but some of them are just like videos of just like I just did a moment ago with the top part, just kind of like taking a second to film something I'm doing so you can show off the art, Alright, let's see. Mr. 2 has a question. His question was, along the same lines as what you said about the eyes, have you ever thought about adding color in a very minor but specific place to perhaps give the opposite awareness to black eyes? I have. Actually, thinking about like a comic like Sin City, where it's all black and white except for certain things are colored. I know if you've watched the movie, it's like that. So I have thought about, doing some sort of addition of color. I just, for this this graphic novel specifically, I don't know if I'm going to do that because when I started, I didn't do it. I'm not saying I can't not start now, but I just feel like that would be an even bigger reassessment of the comic. But that's a great idea. Like I said, just color is very powerful, and adding that to your art is something that I've struggled with, honestly, because even my sculptures are just kind of like solid black, but some just like independent artworks I've made that aren't, part of a graphic novel or anything, I've added color. A lot of my work focuses on what it means to be an American as an American. So I use red, white, and blue a lot. I inked part of his pants too much. I'll have to go back and fix that. So I'm adding these little tiny white specks here to kind of suggest that there's a background behind him. Just to kind of not have it be solid black, but suggest that there's something there. Get real close to that arm. But yeah, I did a series of drawings that are pretty relevant to today's reality, called grit culture. You can find those on my Instagram, manglazedblack, or you can even find them on my website. I've posted them. And I did these really graphic illustrations of these characters, and it's talking about how words can be depicted for depending on your political views. But the drawings themselves can be like, hey, this is what this drawing means, and it can be interpreted by far left or far right, but it allows people on the far left and far right to have a conversation about things. The phrases, little insider, if you do look at it, the phrases are all from propaganda around World War II. I was particularly interested in propaganda posters for food. Pretty harsh. Like, if you don't grow your own food, you don't support your government. So, like, things like that, you can take stuff out of context and apply it to an image of a person laughing, is what I did, an old person laughing, and it creates a whole new context and conversation. But it's black and white drawings like this, and then I added like a stripe of blue and then red and white lettering to get those red, white, blue colors, and that kind of, it's not necessarily just a stripe of color, but it's a filter over the drawing, over the black and white imagery, right? What's the gray in the world? What's black? What's white? So it kind of talks about perspective and just the lens that you view things in and the filters that are in your life. Okay, so see how I'm doing that? It kind of looks like there's a background behind him, right? It looks like there's some gravel there, maybe a pile of gravel or a tree or something. Just suggesting some sort of a background. When I do scan this, you can see all these little tiny imperfections of the black. That'll be solid black when I scan this. So what I'll do is I'm going to go back in with my whiteout and add some more texture to the ground itself. Kyle, I'd love to, I could do a whole artist talk on what I consider grit culture. But go check those drawings out if you haven't seen them. They're on my Instagram. I know if you scroll back far enough, you'll see them. But go to my website, GarrettLeo.com, and I'm pretty sure it's up there. But it's all about this idea that, in art school I struggled with concept. The idea behind your art. And I tended to just work on things that I love to technically make, right? Being able to achieve something technically. And only made a few pieces that were heavily concept based. But once I was out of school, I just started reflecting more and more about, the conversations that I had in school. And I took notes, I wrote all the time, and just kind of reconsidered, why I make art and who I am and what I'm trying to depict. So I came up with this idea called grit culture, which is the romanticization, I think that's how you say it, of a pleasing culture with the intent to distort historical reality. So, for example, it started off with very concrete examples like, everyone's like, oh, wow, the 60s, peace, love, 70s, peace, love, all this stuff. And then you look at what's actually going on in the world then, and it was pretty fucked up. There's always fucked up stuff going on in the world. So the idea was that we romanticize the past. We romanticize parts of our culture as Americans, even though it wasn't great a lot of the time. It was not pleasant. So I started making work. I started looking at what messages were being told. What were people thinking? What were people responding to? And my perspective was as an educator that works in public schools as well. What were people being taught? What was the normal routine for daily life? Just what was going on. I'll take a pause and look at a previous page in this scene just to kind of check something. All right. I'm adjusting the image a bit. I think I went a little too crazy with adding the black. So this is one of those things where I didn't really plan on what was behind him. I think I initially was just going to do all black, but take it the next step and make it something else. Now, it looks like there's a pile of rubble. So he's in this like construction zone area. Maybe this is a pile of all the rocks they're digging up and stuff. So then I have this nice crisp area of white offset with the black. This will translate down into more black. This hill will continue here, right? It'll continue onto the next page because that's what he's digging up. And then, yeah, I think that'll look pretty good. I'm going to go in now and just kind of add some texture. Sorry, I was like holding my breath while I was doing that for some reason. Right? Just to suggest he's standing on a bunch of rocks. Let's check it out. And again, it's all about suggestion. I'm not drawing each individual rock. I'm just kind of putting some texture out there. Not really thinking too much about it. I've said this in a couple streams. If you think too much about it, then it won't look natural because you're overthinking it. So I'm just adding it where I want it, but you can kind of see the rocks behind him. Okay, so thinking about the black and white of this comic. We've got a big white area right here that'll go into this. This will be pretty heavily black to kind of offset this part. And then down here, it'll be half and half. So it'll be white up here. And then all of this will be just the black rubble ground again. And then this is the hole he's digging. And I'll kind of illustrate that off camera. All right. All right, taking a break. One thing is drawing with these big studio lights on is I'm staring at it and my vision isn't the greatest as it is. But then I'm like focusing on my drawing and then like the lights are shining in my eye, so I gotta take a break every once in a while. All right. let's illustrate this trunk. Now I just got to be careful because I got white out on the page that's drying. I'm notorious for grabbing it and smearing it. I'm looking for my graphic. What did I... This it? See, they just disappeared. Where did I do with my graphic? There it is. Start with a graphic. This is the inside of the trunk, and then on top of the car. So I'm just gonna do some bold lines to start. All right. Okay. Now I'm not getting too crazy on the perspective of the car. It is what it is. I'm just gonna add the texture. Check my phone. It's going off. Boom, boom. All right. Okay. This comic is at night, so actually, that was a real long time of silence. Shout out to those of you that are still here. Thank you. The comic primarily takes place at night, but I was inspired by an artist that did all his nighttime drawings just heavily black, and then the sky was always white. So that's kind of what I'm doing. We're like, the sky is actually, it's white, but it's nighttime. Ooh, I could do some power lines in the sky. That'd be good. No, I'm just gonna do the whole thing black. Can you still see that? Yes, you can. All right. Okay. Take a moment. Taking a little video there. Okay. So stuff in the trunk, I'm going to do an 05. An 05. What time did I start streaming? Oh, wow. I started streaming at 1. It's already 2:30. Man. See, I always feel like I'm not productive. Was I going to do an 01? I'm going to do an 05. I always feel like I'm not productive when working on this, but it just takes so long to, like, do stuff. Because it's just like, you gotta do it right, you know? This is where it's gonna get tricky, because I guarantee I'm gonna ink myself. Boom, look at that. Handle. There we go. All right. Change the design of the shovel already. Okay, shovel detailed. I'm going to add a little. So again, little reflections almost to the metal. I'm going to use an 8 to do the same thing for adding the wood texture. I'm just going to add lines. Some of them will overlap, some won't. And then I'll create a nice like rough line texture like wood grain. Okay, there's the shovel. Boom, check that out. Taking a water break, letting my eyes rest. Important to take care of yourself. Okay. We'll continue with the 8. I'm going to do the tire iron. Trying to make sure I'm not smearing any of my ink. Boom, tire iron. I'm gonna switch to an 01. I'll do an 02 and just kind of go on and again, it's got some sort of reflection. It's a silver one, right? But I want something there. Okay. I'm going to take the... I'm going to go with the 08. Again, second largest. And now I made the inside of this trunk have some texture. Right, like it's got some insert. just adding little shaky lines to it. Again, just suggesting that it's got some texture. That's something that definitely has improved with the graphic novel in general. I'll show you. Before I had like no perspective, no texture, no nothing. Now I'm like over the top with it. Okay, I'm not thinking too much about it, just kind of shaking. What did I have there? What is that? Nothing. I think I originally had a bat in the trunk. Decided that was too much. Okay. Coming together pretty well. I'm gonna outline this box. I'm gonna use the graphic now, the largest one I have. Little milk crate. Boom. All right. You didn't even see that because I got it off camera again. That's something I gotta fix. Where is it? A little milk crate. Right there. Hanging out. We'll do... do like an oil stain in the bottom. I'm not going to use the graphic of the little can. A little toolbox. I'll use an 8. Does that make sense to go there? For this, I'm going to make it black. I'm going to make this whole box black, but then I'm going to go back in with the whiteout tool and add some details. Again, what I'm doing right now is I'm just kind of considering the overall balance of the page, like the whole page, as well as the seam. So I want to have, right now, if you're looking at it pretty far away, a lot of white up here, so I want to make sure that it's pretty dark in the bottom. So I might even make the bottom of the trunk black. I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to kind of go around and scribble and swirl and make the bottom black. Again, just thinking about that overall balance. Some areas will have a little speck, some won't. You still see that? Yes, you can. Perfect. Take another video of me doing this. Close that for now. Use my whiteout tool to kind of make some areas lighter than others. Okay. I'll add some textures to that side of the wall. I'll actually do quite a bit there. Okay. Trunk looks good. Looks gross. Add some highlights to the box. That I can go over later. Now I'll do the last part. Oof. Right, so looking at this, again, overall, you can see it from a great perspective at a distance, but a lot of white that kind of connects into this frame, and the black here stops it. But then these complement, 1, 2, 3, and then we've got white, black, and then this will be white, and then it'll be black down here. Right? Slowly coming together. And I've got another 15 minutes on here. So those of you that are, I see some people on Twitch, Mixer, Facebook, one person on YouTube, right on. Thanks for joining us. My name is Garrett Leo. Again, art director for CreatiVets, doing a little graphic novel illustration working. So if you have any questions on it, let me know. I'm feeling the chill, quiet vibes today. This has been like, I've been streaming for like an hour and a half. This is all I've gotten done. Pretty intensive. I'll do like a little close up for those of you that have been watching. They can't really see much from that distance. To see all the little details. Right. Working on the trunk. Next will be where he's digging a hole. Right. And I actually forgot continuity. I need to add some specks to his face. Oh, my finger was in ink. Smudged it right there. Smudged. Dry that ink off. No biggie. I'm gonna let that dry before I mess with it, but I'll just white out the spot that I smeared. Alright. Let's do... Now this I had planned to be all a silhouette. Including like this guy right here. All of this would be black. So do I want the crane to be a silhouette? I'm going to look up a reference photo. That's something else that I've been doing more, is using reference photos. Looking up an excavator. Pull up an image. Okay, we'll keep this up on my screen so I can get the window and stuff set. Okay. Just added some like general lines to it so that when I get to that part for inking, did I even finish that sentence? When I get to that part, I can ink around it so it'll have some highlights. You see that? No, I'm gonna move it up. So I'm just inking in this bottom part. So I'm just going to ink the ground first, and then I'm going to use my graphic pen to do the rest. Right, so you can kind of see here that that crane is going to be like it's not going to be super clear, but that's what I want it to be. It's in the shadows, right? It's not really important all the details, so I'm just gonna ink it, and then that's it. And it'll kind of blend into the background, which again is what I want. It's just, that's how I'm going to do the figure too, is just, again, at this point, it's just the scene itself is the importance. It's not about the details. That's what these little moment frames are for. That's highlighting a very specific moment. This detailing what's going on in the scene, and then this is just the scene itself. What is the action taking place? As you can see, there's like some areas, or maybe you can't see. You can kind of see. There's some areas that are just drying a little slower. So that's the one downfall of using India ink, but it fills the page fast. I could also very easily just do this in Photoshop, but I like the actual pen paper feel. Look at that. Ink, hand, notorious. Okay, so for the guy, he doesn't really have many details. But you get that it's him. Alright, now I'm going to go in with the white. Bigger shapes. Up here. To suggest foreground background. Hold on. There you go. Right, so we've got some rocks up at the front. I'll put the same. Boom. Right? Oh, big pile of rocks behind him. Actually, I'll go in here. I'll make some more solid white areas. This will suggest bigger rocks. Right. Boom. All right. And then is the skyline in the background there? Again, continuity. Let's check it. No, the skyline is not there. So I guess I'll just leave it solid white. Yeah. All right. Well, I want to stop there because the last frame, I don't want to give away too much of the story. You've probably seen it, but I want to ink it up. Yeah, this has been working on a page. So a couple things before I sign off for today. Let me pull up the schedule because we do have another full week of scheduling. Like I said, this has kind of been my I'm back stream. We'll be doing some more art stuff. Today was just kind of get back in it, get in the routine. But if you have any specific things you want me to cover, teach, explore, please send us a message, send us an email, and we will get that stuff rolling. So I'm going to continue to work on this throughout future streams. I'll be doing some more drawing and Photoshop editing. I'll go over that on pulling up the schedule. Confirm on Wednesday. So Wednesday will just be a general art making day with me. I'll be on the same time, 1 o'clock. Do some more ink drawings, maybe do some online editing because I've got the setup for it, and that stuff was fun last time. Tomorrow, Rick will be doing some streaming as well as Friday for some music songwriting lessons. And then Thursday, Miss Zoe F5 at 3 o'clock, we'll be doing some acrylic pour paintings. So you'll need some paint, some canvas, paper towels, cups, stuff like that. So if you are interested in watching some paint pours, that's Thursday. Again, I will be back on Wednesday with some more art, just general art making. We'll see what's going on in my studio. Like I said, I've been trying to just kind of make, but the state of the world has been not so motivating to make a lot of my own stuff. So hopefully we get back on track of doing some more conceptual stuff, maybe working on this more. But yeah, until then, I'll see you all on Wednesday. Again, follow us on Instagram, like us on Facebook. If you're interested in learning more about CreatiVets or what we do, check us out at our website, CreatiVets.org. If you want to see the schedule of what's going on this week, go to CreatiVets.org/live. And then you can see the full schedule. Thanks to Kyle. It's all updated and fancy and nice. And you can kind of plan out your week and join us. And like I said, if you have any suggestions on what to do, please let us know. All right, that is it. I'm going to click hold on, stop recording, keep that, and then let's close it out. I will see you all on Wednesday.
We are a nonprofit that is helping combat disabled veterans heal through the arts. Our art programs in Chicago and California help combat disabled veterans tell their story through art. We enroll them into the best art institutes in the country. We pay for their tuition, their housing, their food all 3 weeks so that they can finally tell their story through art. We also bring combat disabled veterans to Nashville, to places and rooms like this here at the Grand Ole Opry, to tell their story for the first time with pro songwriters all about the things they've never been able to talk about before. These programs have been extreme and help their friends applying for our programs, then we do funding. So if you can go to creativevets.org and donate, we would appreciate it.